Has everyone's heart rate collectively come down from the Will Smith? I'll just start calling them incidents. I'm not going to call them appearances anymore. It's just incidents from last night in the ninth. You go in up 2-0. You're feeling good, Cam. Charlie Morton goes out, gives you 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned runs. Bullpen comes in, does a good job in the 8th. And then here comes Will Smith, and literally everyone from the state of Georgia over into Alabama, Mississippi's Braves country, up into Arkansas and Tennessee.
It's that many Braves fans?
The Carolina. It's Braves country, Cam. The Carolinas.
I bet.
Down into Florida. North Florida. We don't associate with Tampa and Miami.
Mm-hmm.
North Florida. Literally the entire Southeast just collectively groaned when they saw who was coming in because they knew it was about to be an adventure. I mean, you work hard all day. You battle through traffic. You get the kids doing their homework, bathed, put to bed. You got a lot of stresses in your life. And you sit down to enjoy the Braves, and you get a nice performance from Charlie Morton. Soler has a big hit. You're up 2-0. You're feeling good. Then all that anxiety comes back because here comes Will Smith in the bottom of the ninth. And I'm not going to give you the full breakdown, just surmise to say there is a situation where you had runners on second and third with 1 out, up 2-0. And then there was a situation where it was 2-1, and you had a runner on third with 2 outs. So in 2 different situations, a little no-nothing single, and it's a 2-2 ball game. It's just an anxiety level you don't need as a Braves fan.
You know what? I can't even get mad at Will Smith because, I mean, generally that's what Atlanta sports does anyway to you. They do that to you essentially anyway. They always give you stress. I know Falcons stress me on Sundays. Georgia stress me when it matters.
Are you really stressed about the Falcons?
Okay. Are we talking about this year?
Like if you're
not really, because I think they're just playing with house money. Nobody expects the Falcons to be good, but I expect them to fill the foundation, and they look pretty good against the Giants Sunday. It was right step in the direction, but back in the day when they were contending, like we would go like 7-9, but we were actually like a playoff team. Yeah.
But like this past Sunday when the Falcons were playing the New York Giants, you felt a level of anxiety.
I wouldn't say a level of anxiety. I would just, I wanted them to get that win. I really did, because I'm like,
but it would have affected you if they didn't get the win.
Yeah, I love the Dirty Birds.
That's a level of anxiety.
Yeah, I'm real Atlanta, man. Then my Dirty Birds.
Cam said, I'm quote true to Atlanta.
True, I'm definitely true to them Falcons. I'm definitely true to the Dirty Birds, man. I can admit that. I love the Falcons, but I mean, they got a quality win. I think that's a quality win. Giants is a pretty decent football team, but your defense played a lot better. They're pretty. I said decent.
They don't have a win.
I said decent, but if you look at who they play, they played the Washington football team, who I still think is a
not
decent
very
team.
good.
I think they're decent.
Did they get beat by like 30 in Buffalo?
Buffalo's really good. Okay,
I wanted to hear the different
they almost
levels,
beat the Chargers
because he said the Giants are not a bad team. He called the Washington football team a pretty decent team, and now you have the Bills, who are a really good team. So we're getting the Cam tiers.
I'm giving you the
NFL.
tiers. We should do a tier.
Got the not
tier
bad.
Day. We should do a tier day. A hierarchy.
I think we can say the New York Giants are bad, and it took Matt Ryan throwing into some really tight windows to win that football game. That offense is a whole thing. We can talk about that if you want to, but I want to get back to Will Smith, because what I think is hilarious is if you just go box score hunting and you look at his ERA, it's in the 3s, and then he's 3rd in Major League Baseball in saves. 3rd in professional baseball in saves. He's only 2 off the Major League lead from last year's closer, Mark Melancon.
Stats could be misleading.
I mean, I think this is the best case ever that stats can be misleading.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple different kinds of saves. There's the save where the closer comes in, like with the Craig Kimbrell and Billy Wagner era, and you got like flames going off in the outfield. It comes in, smoke show, 3 batters, done. Let's get out of here. You're excited that your closer's coming in because it's going to be domination. Then you have what we're currently dealing with, which is All right, hold on. Let me buckle up. All right, we're good to go.
You have the save, but it's like, really, he's just saving you from himself.
But at what cost?
Right? I mean, yeah, he's just saving you from himself at that point. Coming in.
I have a theory.
I think if there was a level or some sort of stat to measure, the heartbeats and whatnot and the tracking of Atlanta fans when Will Smith was in the game, he would probably have the worst of any pitcher in baseball, because it's just like he keeps you going crazy until he gets that final out.
I have a theory. I think Will Smith thrives under intense pressure. And so a 2-run lead isn't enough pressure. This ain't hard enough. This ain't hard. Make it tougher.
Yeah.
It's like Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter with no time on the clock. Right? He just thrives under pressure. Tom Brady in the Super Bowl down a score. Just thrives under pressure. Will Smith in a regular season game, 2-0. Come on. That ain't tough enough.
I don't know.
Let's walk some guys. Let's put some guys. Let's get some guys home. Let's make this, 2-0. Let's make it 2-1. Let's make it tougher.
Suspenseful.
Just to get the blood pumping a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or maybe he's in communications with Liberty Media, and they're like, hey, we need to keep eyeballs on all the way throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so like nothing gets eyeballs on, like parody and suspense. So you know what, Will? Let's make this a little bit tighter than it should be. There's no other reasonable explanation. Like I said, it is truly amazing that, he has the same amount of saves as Kenley Jansen. He has 2 more saves than Josh Hader, the closer for the NL Central champion Milwaukee Brewers. And if you look at it, almost half of the Braves' wins have come with a save from Will Smith. Roughly.
Yeah. All that's interesting though, because you can like what you were talking about with Hader with the Brewers. He could have less saves because he's in less situations where he needs to have a save.
Team 7-1, and there's no save opportunities.
Yeah, there's things like that. But going back to the Tom Brady and like Aaron Rodgers comment, I completely agree that there are people in sports that do thrive under intense pressure. Like you said, under a minute to go, you look at them. I love the shots on the sidelines, right? Of Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady
and Will Smith
getting the ball back. Getting the ball back with 45 seconds left with no timeouts. And you see them, they have that look in their eye of just like, all right, like I get it. We're good.
TJ, Will Smith has a wrist tat. You think my guy's not about the big moments?
I think. Listen, your life choices with tattoos doesn't mean like I love tattoos, but like that doesn't.
Do you have a wrist tat?
Eventually, but no.
Okay, so you don't.
No,
all right.
No, I don't. All right.
Well, Will Smith does, and he has 36
that
saves.
Doesn't mean anything to me in regards of his.
I'm just trying.
All I'm saying is
I'm just exploring ways to justify this.
Those Tom Brady's, those Aaron Rodgers,
those Will Smiths,
they normally don't put you in the situation where then you have to thrive under intense pressure.
They absolutely do. Didn't Aaron Rodgers have like 3 interceptions in the first half of the NFC Championship game last year?
Yeah.
No. Aaron Rodgers had 1 interception.
It was 4 or 5, right? Something like that.
Disrespect Aaron Rodgers like that.
He also he did what
he only had 1 pick.
In that game, he had 1 pick.
Brady had 3.
Oh, it was Brady who had 3.
Yeah.
All right. Well, see, Brady did it, and
Watch
he won.
yourself.
See? No, you proved my point.
Yeah,
Tom
he
Brady
did
threw 3 interceptions in the first half of the NFC Championship game, made it harder on himself, and won.
No. Tom Brady, that's the
was the
difference.
second
Tom Brady,
half, yeah.
that's the
Against
difference of what
the
I'm saying.
Atlanta Falcons.
That's okay.
Threw a pick 6.
Oh, Lord.
Went down. He's like, you know what? Super Bowls are boring. Let's make this really interesting and snatch the heart out of the fan base.
Now I want to go with break because that just hurt my feelings.
I would say in both those situations, got a lot of help from the other coaching staff. Like Tom Brady and the Bucs last year with the NFC Championship game didn't go out and dominate like the fourth quarter and win that game against the Packers. The Packers coaching staff had a comeback brewing, and they ruined it. They soiled it. They didn't trust their quarterback in late situations when you have Aaron Rodgers. As you
about to make me throw a chair.
PJ, you can only control what you can control. All right? And what you can control is putting yourself down 25 in the Super Bowl.
Why are we talking about this?
Because I'm trying to prove a point that Will Smith is Tom Brady.
He's doing it on purpose.
Because I really don't want to talk about the Falcons blowing that on the Wednesday.
okay, how about he's LeBron? Will Smith is LeBron James.
Heck no.
He said winning NBA titles is boring. I'm going to go down 3-1 to the greatest team ever assembled.
A lot of stuff happened with that.
That is kind of true though. Like
That's true.
you have a point there because LeBron also had all those arguments, those like
Prior to,
2-3 years of like he's not clutch, he's not.
no,
well,
no,
look
but
at his
even
game
prior to
winners.
that,
No,
he
he's
was
not
like,
clutch.
winning NBA titles is too easy. I'm going to go to Cleveland.
I'm gonna go back to Cleveland and get one there.
Will
Yeah.
Smith is Tom Brady, is Aaron Rodgers, is LeBron James.
Wow.
really
To the
think
people
he's
out
on
there
something with
listening,
LeBron.
I apologize for Christian for saying that.
Why? He's 2 off the major league lead and saves. He gets the job done.
I'm talking
He
about
got it done last night.
champions.
You guys keep talking about stats. I keep talking about getting it done.
He got the job. What's hilarious is I got the job. If I checked my Twitter this morning, and I knew how the game went, but like I checked my Twitter this morning, and if I just only went off of tweets from Kevin Thomas,
Yeah, he blew it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would think that he gave up like 18 runs in the ninth, but instead he clutched up with a win.
Sounds like you guys just need to. You guys hate the process. You need to focus on the result.
I think there's steps in the process that you don't need.
I think he'll win a playoff game. He'll win
PJ,
a playoff
who are
game
you
for
to
them.
who are you to question Will Smith's mindset and what he needs to do?
Oh, not as mindset.
Maybe this is going
no.
to pay off in the playoffs because he's like maybe he's just practicing for the playoff where he's like I'm facing so many high leverage situations that when I get to the playoffs it's going to be easy.
Right.
You know what? Hey, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Or
man.
you go to the flip side of it, which is you're hanging on the razor's edge, and there's a distinct chance that you go to the other side in a terrible situation. So it just depends on how you look at it. I choose to live life with a half full approach.
Have fun in the playoffs if you get to the Dodgers and you have a lead in the ninth, and Will Smith says, "You know what? Let's try and make it a little tighter."
The Dodgers got to get past the dang Cardinals, who have won like 97 games in a row.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's going to be fascinating.
just saying.
That is a interesting matchup because you're going to have the Dodgers, who are 100+ game winners, against the hottest team in baseball in like the last 2 years,
It's gonna be fun.
and it's going to come down to a 1-game playoff.
It's
Imagine winning 100+ games
and then going home.
and going home after 9 innings.
No, it's tough. I
about
would
ticked
think
off.
at least like
Imagine
3.
winning like 20+ games in a row
And going home.
and going home after 9
Yeah.
innings.
I've never really liked the one-off thing in
Oh no, it's lame.
baseball,
it's super
yeah.
lame.
It should be a 3-game series.
That's
at
what I'm
least.
saying. Like
Yeah.
a short. Keep
Short
it
little
short, but
3-game
like 3 straight
series,
nights,
yeah.
like a mini series.
Yeah.
Or a normal series at that.
Normal, yeah. It should be like that, but just a single elimination game. I mean, it brings excitement to the sports, but
Yeah, it's a
Nah.
games. It's a manufactured Game 7.
yeah, like NBA play-ins. Oh Lord,
Well, it's
Yep.
just
Yeah,
like
I'm
it's
not gonna
but even with NBA, well, no.
Are they still
hate
are they
those.
still doing that?
it's gotten worse. Like you could be the 10th seed and get in the play-in now. That's
Yeah,
how they
because
did
we had to go through the whole explanation where it was like it's like
terrible.
the 8 or the 7 and 8th just have to win 1 in
Yeah.
the NBA to get in. The 9
Yeah.
and 10 have to win 2.
They literally had a 10th seed in the East that was like, I think it was Washington, that was like 32 and 46.
Playoff team.
And they made the playoffs
Playoff team.
because of a
We were talking
play-in.
about this yesterday on 3 and Out. I'm curious to get your opinion on it. You were sitting here, you were not. We were doing Jeopardy yesterday on 3 and Out, and we were talking about Ole Miss. And I was like, hey, what was the 1 year Ole Miss won the SEC West?
Oh, right.
And
right.
Kevin jumped in very quickly with a hot trick question. They've never won it. And I went, no, you're wrong. Minus 1,000 points because we're playing Jeopardy.
Yeah.
And he got mad. And BJ was like, no, Kevin's right. Ole Miss has never played in the SEC championship game. I was like, that's not what I asked you.
Yeah.
I asked how many times has Ole Miss won the SEC West since they split to the divisions? And the answer is once in 2003. They went 7-1 in division. LSU went 7-1 in division. They beat Ole Miss 17-14. So they got to go to the SEC championship game. But if you go, you're in Oxford, Mississippi, and you go into their stadium,
Mhm.
painted up on the stadium
Mhm.
is 2003 SEC West Division champs. So hey, they're an under 500 team. The Wizards were making the playoffs, but you still gonna put up a banner and say playoffs.
Man,
Playoff
one way or the
basketball.
other.
baby.
I swear to you,
You get to sell
sing-
tickets to 2 home games.
outside of football, single elimination games in any other sport is just ridiculous. I don't like it. I hate it. Unless you're going to like game
Yeah.
7,
or
obviously.
here, or also, Cam, just don't be
Terrible.
a 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th seed team.
They should even get included.
Now, I
The
do
10th,
feel
9th,
bad.
and 10th.
I don't think there
They
should
shouldn't.
be.
Yeah.
I don't think the way they work it out is interesting. You can maybe change that around, like with the NFL, where it's like, oh, division champs get in, even though the division champ could be an under 500 team. I think that's lame. I think it should be more so like kind of like what the NBA does, where it's seeds.
Yeah, it's seeds. But you play 82 games. If you can't tell me you could get in the top 8 after 82 games, you don't deserve a chance to get in. I don't care about injuries. You get 82 games.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole? I know there was a discussion a little bit when you're talking about playoff reformatting and things like that, especially in the NBA. I know the West obviously has been so much stronger than the East. If you look at the past 8-9 years, well, I mean,
defending champs from the East,
depth wise, that's okay. That's
don't
fine.
Start that.
That's fine. It was also the same way with the Raptors.
Where does the MVP reside?
When Cleveland won. But anyway.
Oh, MVP, Denver, Jokic.
West.
Yeah, there you go.
So you got champs in the East, MVP in the West. It's pretty even.
With that type of discrepancy when you're talking about the depth of the East and West, there was a lot of discussions of no conferences and just going with overall records.
That would be bad.
That would be bad.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Don't like that.
A lot of teams you'll see like every year the top 2 teams in the West just play every year in the finals.
Yeah,
like that's like back in the day, Golden State and Houston. They were clearly the 2 best teams. Their matchup every year in the finals.
Shouldn't they play in the finals?
Huh?
Shouldn't they play in the finals if they're the 2 best teams?
Yeah, they should, but I don't think it's good.
So what you're saying
I don't like it.
What you're saying is you're thinking like a TV executive, and you want an East Coast and a West Coast team.
Yeah,
in the finals.
I say that because I think it would be really, especially if we're judging from the past, it'd be really West Coast dominant. It would be.
But
bad.
Again, if you're just trying to honestly determine the champion, isn't that who it should be?
True. Now, I will admit this year, East and West, it's going to be Lakers, Nets. Those are 2 best teams. Now, if you're talking about past,
you thought last year that the Nets were going to be the best, and they were
injured. If we're talking about healthy,
part of the game.
It's a part of the game.
That's one of my favorite things Cody ever used to harp on all the time. You know what the best ability is, Cam? You know what the best ability is? Availability.
It's part of the game.
It's
but
absolutely part of the game.
They don't need to do that. Yeah. Not especially this year. I don't even know if like 4 East teams will make the playoffs outside of Milwaukee.
I don't know how we went from Will Smith to NBA playoff talk, but here we are.
we got into playoff formatting and things like that.
Here we are.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk some college football. Georgia has a fascinating stat that they're looking to continue the trend on coming into this game with Arkansas. We also have some injury updates to get to from Georgia, a pretty significant name getting updated on that injury list. We'll dive into that. Maybe we'll talk some more Will Smith. Who knows where this is going to go? We'll dive into all of that next right here on Second Down. Cam is playing bangers. Coming back with some Diamond Rio.
DJ Cam, man.
I didn't know you rock like that, Cam.
I get down and dirty
With
sometimes.
some Diamond Rio.
Yeah.
I like it. Cam, I will buy your lunch right now. I know we've been working on your college football fandom.
Oh,
I will buy you lunch if you tell me what song they play at Bryant-Denny Stadium in the third quarter of Alabama games before the fourth quarter.
I don't know. The only song I ever heard you guys say is like "Jump Around." That's it.
Do you know what stadium they play that in?
The Virginia Tech Stadium.
Nope.
Wait. Is it an SEC school?
Nope.
I give up.
Play that one in Camp Randall, where Wisconsin plays their
Oh,
home
man.
games. But PJ, do you
we're
know-
working on it.
PJ, do you know what game they play at Bryant-Denny
What game they play?
or what
Yeah.
song they play?
They play the Alabama game.
They play the Alabama
They
game.
play Dixieland Delight.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Hey.
Cam, can you tell me which artist sings Dixieland Delight? I'm not trying to. I'm just curious.
I mean, this is good for the show.
Because there's people in the car that are playing along with you.
Yeah, they're probably trying to guess the same thing. Cameron just doesn't know. He doesn't.
Do you know who sings Dixieland Delight?
No.
Alabama. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. The band Alabama.
Yeah. Hey,
Look, we're working on it.
we'll see if I get there.
Oh,
We'll
you're gonna
see.
get there. You're just via osmosis.
Mhm.
You're gonna start getting there.
We'll see if I get there.
All right. I did say I
Sure.
wanted to dive into a stat. Georgia's been pretty dominant so far this year, but we don't know how good of teams they've played thus far. But one of the biggest storylines so far has been how dominant they've been early, right? And so we look at the Vanderbilt game, 35-0 first quarter. JT Daniels, your starting quarterback's out in the first quarter. I just didn't realize how thoroughly dominant they've been through the first half into the third quarter. Georgia has outscored their opponents 154-6 in the first three quarters of the first four games of the season.
154-6.
154-6.
I mean, can't argue that. That's
And
pretty
if you
dominant.
throw in there, in one of those games, you only scored 10 points against Clemson.
True.
That's nuts.
Because what's 3 divided by?
Oh, don't start trying to do math on the
154?
show. That's dangerous.
Oh man,
It's
nah, I'm
almost
pretty good at math.
50 points a game
Yeah,
in the first three quarters.
it's almost 50. It's like high 40s. Yeah.
So welcome to the math on second down. They've been dominant. And I think that's going to be a key thing in this game is if you let Arkansas hang around in this game, it's going to get real dangerous. Like it doesn't matter what year it is. If you let Arkansas hang around, it's going to get weird. Think about all those overtime games they played with Ole Miss and Texas A&M. It's going to get weird. Georgia has to come out hot in this game. And it's going to be a noon kick. Game days in town, which I think is a huge help.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to rile everybody up prior to the game. Where I have a buddy who was a student at Georgia when they lost to South Carolina a couple years back. And what was his story? So, yeah, I woke up about 1 and turned the game on. I was like, oh, what's going on? That's the storyline typically for noon games in college towns.
Yeah.
All the families are in there, but it could be a little bit tough to get those 18, 19, 20-year-olds
riled up.
into the stadium at noon.
That's how it was when they lost to South Carolina. It was like third quarter. I'm like, why is this a close game? It was homecoming too, I want to say.
Might have been.
It might have been, but oh yeah, they have to come out swinging. Because Arkansas, they're coming in house money. They just came off a top 10 win, so they're trying to take their heads off, man. So most definitely, Georgia, they have to come in and play. I think this is the one game where they have to play a complete game, run the ball and pass the ball.
I think it's their most difficult opponent thus far. I mean, PJ, you're watching kind of from the outside looking in. Clemson isn't anything to write home about now, and PJ kind of has a theory that like Georgia kind of wrecked their philosophy offensively for a couple reasons, like. Psychologically, you can wreck somebody when you do what they did to them, and maybe you start overcompensating as a coaching staff and trying to switch things up. And the second thing is you could have given people a game plan, which I don't know how easy and readily available it is to duplicate a game plan that includes having Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter on the inside of your defensive line.
Yeah.
And Nakobe Dean playing linebacker. I don't know how easy it is to replicate that, but maybe you gave a little bit of a blueprint to try to slow down this offense. And so, I mean, nobody else has held them to 3 points, but I mean, Georgia Tech
Yeah.
held them to 14. What was it? 21 points scored against NC State.
Yeah.
So they haven't really gotten clicking yet.
Hmm.
I feel like Georgia has to come out really fast in this game.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. For the simple reason that you can't let Arkansas get any momentum. You can't start letting them feel anything once they get into that game, because they are the type of team. I think you saw it against Texas, where they get out to a hot start. The other team's not feeling comfortable. They're going to run with that, literally.
Yeah, they're literally going to run with
that
it.
offensive line and their running game, complete with their quarterback. I mean, they're gonna keep going right at you, and then their defense is going to start feeling it too. So no, I'm with you there. Got to come out with a quick start, and the more you can slow down a team like that, especially with how they won Texas A&M, they came out and they started strong, but as we talked about yesterday, Arkansas they held on late. Had their quarterback banged up, obviously, but they kind of held on late. So if you can keep that trend moving forward as Georgia, keep them uncomfortable offensively and come out and get some points early, that's a really great start. I think you start getting in their heads a little bit. The fans start getting even louder, and they start feeling even more pressure. So I think that is a very big point. Going back to your Clemson thing too. Like you said, Georgia Tech, NC State, they don't have the same kind of guys that Georgia has. I would like to think that with the offensive playmaking and ability that we've seen from Clemson over the last 6 or 7 years, I'd like to think that just simply having a little bit of a blueprint and those guys wouldn't be enough for teams like Georgia Tech and NC State to slow down your offense, especially with the kind of prolific type of potential.
I will say this.
I
will say this, because we looked at the Georgia Tech game, we're like, wow, they almost lost to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech then came out the next week and just decimated North Carolina.
Yeah.
So maybe Georgia Tech got something figured
getting
out.
Better. They're getting better, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think we still haven't seen a lot from them. But no, I think somewhat, if you look at Arkansas and what they do, and kind of what Clemson was trying to do, and that the team they have built somewhat similar with the run game that they both have, the types of quarterbacks and their running ability that they have. So I think I'd be confident in that defensive ability for Georgia to be able to slow down at least Arkansas and make them uncomfortable.
I think it's fair to say this: Alabama's win over Miami, Georgia's win over Clemson, and Penn State's win over Auburn. I think you can kind of lump all those in there together, which people are like, you can't lump Clemson in with Auburn and Miami. Clemson's ranked number 25 in the country right now.
Yeah, right.
They just got beat by NC State.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you can lump them in there with those teams. And I say that.
Forget about the last 8 years
Right.
of what this is
2021
this year's
Clemson.
team.
Right. And what I'm saying with that is you don't know how good that win was.
Right.
Where it's like after a 10-3 win over Clemson, we were like, that's a massive, is that Kirby Smart's biggest win at Georgia? Now I don't know that it's top 5.
At first it was, at first it was
like
but
in
now,
the moment, but now with
Yeah,
the benefit of hindsight, it's not bigger than the Rose Bowl win. It's not bigger than the SEC championship
because
win.
they can't get their
I don't think it's
offense
bigger than a
together.
couple of the wins in Jacksonville.
Right.
Yeah, they can't get that offense together.
It's
It looks
a
anemic.
non-conference win over a 25th ranked team.
Mm-hmm.
Sad to say, yeah.
I mean, there's less things more meaningless than a preseason ranking.
Yeah. Well, and now, unless Arkansas ends up 4-8 or whatever at the end of the year, which you don't see happening, now this Arkansas win would be bigger than that.
Oh, 1,000%.
In a huge way. Yeah.
Unless they just, like you said, fall off a freaking cliff. Yeah, but these next 4 weeks
there's
are
a
crucial.
distinct chance that Arkansas loses 3 games in a row.
Yeah, it's
very well could.
Because they have Auburn at home, but they got Ole Miss on the road at Ole Miss.
Yeah, they
and then
go
Auburn at
back-to-back
home.
weeks, Athens and Oxford.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, they started this 4-game stretch 1-0, but they got the easiest win out of the way first. I mean, let's be
True.
real there.
Yeah,
This
Texas
is-
A&M has no idea what they're doing on offense,
Yeah, they don't.
no idea.
It's bad.
which
You
is
still let them
wild.
score 10 points.
Which is wild with how much they're paying their head coach, who's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer / offensive genius.
Right.
So,
Then
It's-
after Auburn, don't Arkansas have LSU too?
I mean, it's the SEC West, so yeah, they're gonna have
Good
to play
Lord.
LSU and Alabama and
Mississippi
Man.
State.
Mississippi
too.
State. Yep.
Which
Prayers to them.
any given week can
correct. So I mean, it's not as far fetched as it sounds, Cam, that they're a 6-7 win team at the end of the year.
Yeah, you guys are right. I mean, but I give them credit though. They're way ahead of schedule, and just being in the top 10 right now, that's big for Sam Pittman in that program.
Oh, Sam Pittman's done a great job, and I don't know that there's anybody I like listen to just talk football more than Sam Pittman because he's completely honest. It's almost like, I'm not saying the other guys are dishonest; they're just very guarded with what they say. But Sam Pittman, he'll lay it out there. I mean, his availability at SEC Media Days was awesome. And some of the stuff he said, and he just talked about like what he picked up along the way. One thing I really like that he said, which I think is kind of true if you look at just how they've approached everything, is he said when he coached at Georgia, every day felt like 4th and 1. He's just like that kind of intensity that like, you were never there. You would never arrive. Every day felt like you were lining up, loaded up, just trying to gain 1 yard, just trying to pick up that first down. Every day felt like 4th and 1. I think that's really an interesting thing because Georgia, it feels like you press like fast forward on the program, not so much in the wins because Mark Richt was hugely successful in his 15 years, but on everything that's surrounding it, the recruiting, it's like, okay, we just got a new facility. Well, we need to redo the stadium. We need new locker rooms. And then after you get that in 2016, it's like, well, we need to do it again and we need to keep it updated. Like nothing feels stagnant.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's brought that to Arkansas, but also I feel like he's gone out and made really good hires. And Barry Odom, I know I've said it a bunch over the past couple of weeks. He's got it. I don't want to say why he's not one of the guys who's in line for a head coaching job because he's already been the head coach at Missouri and he was good while he was there. He was the defensive coordinator before that at Missouri, and now he's leading an awesome unit at Arkansas that was getting shredded last year and the year before that. But now they've had a full offseason to work with him. He's got one of the best defenses in the country with a bunch of 3-stars on it.
This is giving early 2000 vibes, you know, when Arkansas had like Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, stuff like that.
What's
when
wild
they were
is like
good.
all their running
vibes
backs are
now.
wearing the same numbers. They're wearing number 5, wearing number 22, wearing number 20.
vibes.
It is pretty cool. I will say I'll be very cautious.
Oh no, I ain't saying they're Darren McFadden or Felix Jones. Oh no, sir. No.
Yourself.
Oh, I know how bad of a man Derek McFadden
Darren McFadden was that guy. We were talking about
He
it
was bad,
yesterday.
man.
We were doing Arkansas trivia yesterday, and we were like, Darren McFadden had like 750 yards in his career just against South Carolina.
Yeah, he was bad.
He played 3 games against South Carolina, just massacred them all 3 times. So it's going to be a really fun game on Saturday. You're going to have game day. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like they're actually doing 2 different game days from 9 to 10. I believe it's either 9 to 10 or 9 to 11, but they're going to have to open the show in one part of the campus in Myers Quad.
Yeah.
And then I think it's from 11 to noon. They're going to be hosting the show from the west end zone of the stadium.
Yeah.
And it's because Kirk Herbstreit literally has to get done with the pick segment and go up into the press box and call the game.
Yeah.
He's calling the game. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's game day. That's the game, but it's at noon. Yeah. It's not very often that the game day game is a noon kick.
Right. Well, I've always thought that was
I mean, it was last week, which was interesting because they had it at Soldier Field and you had Notre Dame running onto the field, but it wasn't actually the primetime game that they were calling. It was Herbstreit could still get on a plane and fly to the other game. This is literally as soon as they get in with the picks, you're going into Kirk Herbstreit on the game.
Yeah. No, I thought that was I think that I'm very excited for that. That's something they always used to do with Oklahoma and Texas. There and something I was always excited for. There's a different energy at first when you get into the end zone and you get into about 11 o'clock, you start back the show and whatnot, not very many people in the stadium. But then once it gets about 11:55, they start making their picks and everything. And the stadiums are just going crazy and whatnot. They're all watching Lee Corso making his pick and stuff. It's a whole lot of fun. So I can't wait to see that energy that you normally see with Oklahoma, Texas at the State Fair and everything like that down in Athens with Arkansas and Georgia.
I wonder where they're going to set it up because there is kind of that. If you've been to Sanford Stadium, you've seen like the dog walk is where the locker rooms are. There is a road that goes over. I guess you call it a bridge, but it's a road that goes over that. And so like there's like the facilities where the buses can pull in, but the players walk in there. And so you have all the fans down there. It's next to the library, and then the road that goes over it. And then you're looking into Sanford Stadium. You're looking into the field. You can be standing there and watching the game, right? It's awesome. And I really wonder if they're going to put it on that road.
Yeah.
Because that road's shut down on game day. Nobody's driving there. I wonder if they're going to put it right there because then if you're Herbstreit, just being in the press box before, it's literally maybe 20, 30 yards to a flight of stairs that you go up and you're at the press box door and you're in there.
Yeah.
So he's got maybe,
Maybe.
a 1-2 minute walk
Right.
up there. But I mean, he's gonna be popping in. And of course, they could have the guy down there, the official, the TV official, that could just go put his hand up and say, "No, we're waiting.
Yeah. Yep.
We're waiting on Hershey to catch his breath.
That's true.
Right.
He got to get some water.
Put on the
All right,
mic
hold
and
on.
everything. Yeah.
Wait. You're like, it's supposed to be a 12:05 kick. Wait. All right, you're good. Go.
Right.
Big
Honestly,
game
We got to
Saturday.
wait for Kirk to do a slide in. It's fine.
No, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I know. I'm really excited for it. I think it's a huge slate. And also, a lot of people complaining that this game's at noon and they wanted them to move it back. No, this is great. We have 3 matchups that are within the top 12.
Yeah.
Because you have Georgia, Arkansas, which is 2-8. Then you have Alabama, Ole Miss at 3:30, which is 1. I think Ole Miss is 12. I could be missing that.
12.
They're
or
right there. I think
13.
they're 12. I think they're
They're
12.
either
Let's see.
11, 12, or 13 because Florida, I think, is right around there as well. And then you have 7 Cincinnati and 9 Notre Dame, and that one's kicking off an hour before that at 2:30.
12.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have
It's
some awesome games coming up.
No,
A
that's
lot of people want to move it to
incredible
7,
slate.
but I think this is going to be unique. I think it's going to be cool to see this as a day game. Like, kind of get that classic feel to it.
Yeah.
Where you're watching the
Mhm.
big game. There's still sunlight outside.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for whatever reason, I think big games like this, other than with the exception maybe of Michigan and Ohio State, but most of the time when you see a big ranked great game like this, it seems to include Southern teams. So I don't know.
Texas, Oklahoma.
I like to see that, and I like that feel with Georgia and Arkansas. Like you said, it's kind of an old school feel. Now, I do think, kind of piggybacking off of what you guys said yesterday in Take 3, I love night games for big games and big atmospheres and whatnot, especially when it's my favorite team. But I certainly appreciate the
No,
noon kickoff.
If it's
I
my
love
favorite team, I want the noon kickoff.
Yeah,
And if it's
I don't
my
like the
team,
night games
because you
for
I
my
have to
favorite
sit
team.
around and dread all day. Just go ahead and
Yeah.
peel that Band-Aid off.
Yeah, to me that
True.
I'm weird. So there's
I'm not going to disagree with that. With that, we're going to go to break.
Yeah, we
We'll come
got
back
to,
with
yeah.
more second down after this. So if I gave you guys a whole bunch of money, just a suitcase full of cash right now,
Cash.
but I gave you two options to bet this suitcase full of cash on, because I want to try to spread my money out the most.
Can I just keep it?
No, you got to put it down.
All right.
We're in Las Vegas. You can put the briefcase full of cash on correctly predicting all four of the college football playoff participants.
Oh.
Or you can put all of the cash on Ole Miss and Arkansas both winning this weekend.
I do the 4 playoffs. I'll take my
You're
chances.
that comfortable?
Yeah.
Which four are you picking right now? Go.
4 am I picking?
Yeah.
Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Oregon.
All right. Well, your playoff hopes could be in dire straits if the other bet hits.
I don't think Arkansas and Ole Miss will both win. I think that's a
PJ?
lot harder.
I think I would have to. Oh my gosh, I don't like this because there's so many variables.
Oh, yeah.
But seeing two
Well, you can make a
teams-
lot of money just this weekend and you're boom.
yeah,
Versus having to wait for the season to play out and slowly watching your chances dissolve in front of your face.
seeing two teams like this win a game like this on the same weekend is very
You know what we
rare.
call those weekends, PJ? Blood weeks.
Yeah, but you call them that and you appreciate them because you don't get them a lot.
You get it
Like,
once a year.
I-
And you know what's also happened this year that hasn't happened before ever, literally in the history of the AP poll? We've had 25
yeah.
top 25 teams lose
Like, I
through
get it.
4 weeks.
I get that, but it's also the two best teams in the SEC, and to give the SEC credit, that normally doesn't happen in the SEC. Like normally you get like one upset a week if you're lucky in the SEC, right? You don't get the top two teams losing like this in one weekend. So I would probably have to go. Like if Alabama wins, if Georgia loses at noon, Alabama's going to win.
Yeah,
Like,
because
that's
they-
basically
that's
how
gonna
I
I'm
see it.
alarm
terrible
them,
at
yeah.
statistics, but I want to pull up the ESPN FPI predictions for this one because, again, statistics was not my best class in college.
No,
I enjoyed
I
it,
agree
yeah.
with you on that. If
You
Georgia
enjoyed
lose,
stat?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
What the
I'm,
hell is wrong with you?
did we not just finish the last segment by saying I'm weird? All right.
Okay,
Not
so
wrong with that.
I'm
Arkansas
odd.
per
Weird is
ESPN
good.
has 11%
Agreed.
chance to win against Georgia. Ole Miss has a 19% chance to win. So what is the likelihood that both of those happen based off that?
So wait, did you say 11 for Arkansas?
Yeah.
So Ole Miss is getting even more of a chance
Against
than
Alabama.
Arkansas against Alabama. See, that's why I don't trust that either. I don't trust any of it.
yeah.
That's what. Yeah, no. I
If
don't-
Georgia loses, that's gonna
No, but
alarm
what is that? Like,
Alabama
isn't
to play.
doesn't that make it like a 7 or 8% chance that Georgia and Alabama both lose?
something like that.
If you're talking about 30% of, because I mean, if you combine that 30%,
No, but it's not 30% versus 200% because that would be 15% that both of that happens.
Yeah.
It's of the percentage of the percentage.
right.
I think it's like an 8%, 7-8% chance. But again, we're doing math right here. I know somebody's screaming at the radio. If we're wrong, at GoCal ESPN, at ESPN Coastal, let us know we're wrong.
Yeah, go ahead. Because I said I enjoyed probability and stats
Yeah.
in school and in college, but I did not retain a lot of it. Like that doesn't mean
I feel like PJ's a liar and we need to do a stat. We need
I
to do a
enjoyed
stat.
it. That
We need to do a
doesn't
stat quiz with PJ on the show.
mean I know how to do it on the fly on a radio show.
Sine and cosine and all of it.
Yeah, no, forget that. No, I have to go
Graphing
with the 4.
calculators in your face.
I have to go with picking the 4 playoff teams.
Who are yours? Go.
I mean, I
Quickly.
picked them yesterday, but like
We didn't have a briefcase full of cash yesterday.
I'm gonna change one from yesterday.
All right.
I'm gonna change one from yesterday. I'm gonna go Alabama, Penn State, Cincinnati, and Georgia.
All right.
I think Georgia. I think Alabama or Georgia loses one game
I'm reckless.
throughout
I'm,
the
I'm,
year.
I'm reckless. I'm putting it on Ole Miss and Arkansas.
That's fine. Like you said, you
I
get-
wonder how much that would pay off. I'm actually going to do the research. How much is in this briefcase? Let's just put a number out there. How much is in there?
I don't know if you're talking about these kind of
20
chances,
large?
right?
20 large?
Yeah, why not?
All right, we'll put 20 large in there. We're going to go to break. We'll come back. We'll tell you how much that would pay off if Arkansas and Ole Miss both hit. Do it. All right, Cam. I did the math, but not the math I said I was going to do because that was too much math for 4 minutes. If my calculations are correct, and I actually did multiple of them. Let me just. Yep. All right. If my calculations are correct, based off ESPN's FPI, there's a 1.7% chance that Ole Miss and Arkansas both win on Saturday.
Not happening.
So you're saying there's a chance. Also, a 0.73 or 73% chance that Georgia and Alabama both cover.
Now, I don't know about the covering.
I like it. It's a look. Welcome to math. We're both terrible at it. Covering. I'm not going to say Cam because Cam hasn't attempted it. I'm bad at it, but here we are. Got a big show coming up on 3 and Out. Really awesome interview. We're going to be joined by Jared Binko, Georgia Southern Athletic Director. He's going to let us know what direction he wants to take the program following their parting ways with Chad Lunsford. All that coming up on 3 and Out.